Qatar is home to 37 of the most important coral species in the world today, each of them uniquely adapted to survive the Gulf's extreme temperatures.
أهمية الشعاب المرجانية تأتي في كونها تمثل درع أو ساتر للشواطئ بشكل عام. كذلك الشعاب المرجانية بيئة جداً مناسبة لتكاثر الأسماك، وبالتالي وجودها هو يساهم بشكل غير مباشر في الأمن الغذائي.
Despite their incredible heat tolerance, however, coral reefs remain a delicate part of Qatar's coastal ecosystem, and they are under serious threat. Damaged by overfishing, coastal development, sedimentation, and man-made pollution, these otherwise resilient coral reefs are dying. With only a few species remaining in Qatar's coastal areas, and not enough offshore sites with resources to help, that tragic decline will worsen.
أكثر من 50% من الشعاب المرجانية الآن وصلت إلى مرحلة الانقراض على مستوى العالم.
But all is not lost. New and emerging technologies, such as coral gardening, have shown great promise in reintroducing coral species to ecosystems across the world. But more experiments are needed to prove their potential. This gives Qatar an incredible opportunity to help perfect coral preservation techniques in the Gulf and become a world leader in marine sustainability. And it all begins at Qatar University's Environmental Science Center.
البحث في جامعة قطر يقوم على أساس استراتيجية دولة قطر 2030 وعلى أساس استراتيجية جامعة قطر وعلى الأولويات البحثية للجامعة.
تعاونت شركة قطر للطاقة للغاز الطبيعي المسال مع جامعة قطر ووزارة البيئة والتغير المناخي بإنشاء مشروع حاضنة للشعاب المرجانية الحية وإنزالها في مواقع مختلفة في دولة قطر.
قمنا بإعادة إحياء الشعاب المرجانية في قطر وهذا المشروع هو الوحيد من نوعه في المنطقة.
I copy the shape of this mushroom type of coral that grows in the water current, and we design this new artificial reef and we patent them in the name of Qatar University, and it was really successful. It was amazingly beautiful how the water just passed through and keep the top protected. We effectively validate the functionality of a new technology developed in Qatar to be used in Qatar.
The mushroom forest, patented by Qatar University, was designed using a biomimetic concept which copies the hydrodynamic shape of corals. Entire coral colonies have already been transplanted and fixed onto these artificial reefs, creating permanent habitats for growing corals. In the first year alone, the reefs have achieved an outstanding survival rate of 90%. As an added benefit, these modules also form grottos for benthic fish like groupers and a forest of shaded columns for dense planktonic shoals. These habitats protect at-risk species from illegal nets and traps that lead to overfishing. They also attract larger predators for healthier biodiversity. But the fight for the Gulf's reefs doesn't end there. Supported by Qatar's Ministry of Municipality, the ESC also adapted an aquatic fisheries research center laboratory with state-of-the-art aquariums specifically designed for growing coral.
نقوم بقطع قطع صغيرة من المرجان ونأخذه إلى المعامل نوفر له البيئة الصحية المناخ الصحي لنموه. بعد فترة عندما نتأكد أن هذه الشعاب المرجانية بدأت في النمو نعيدها مرة ثانية إلى بيئتها الطبيعية.
I collaborated in the setup of the first coral nursery here in Qatar, which is set up in Al-Khor, the Aquatic Fisheries Research Center, where we have our coral lab, which was a very innovative facility. It allowed us to really escalate the scientific output of this project.
It is in these labs that scientists further explore coral gardening technologies, including fragmentation, which involves cutting existing corals and cloning resilient species, husbandry, or the science of increasing growing rates and survival after fragmentation, and outplanting, where baby corals are released and planted in the wild. To increase the success of the ESC's coral gardening technology, it currently focuses much of its study on the 7 most resistant species in Qatar. The results thus far have yielded promising and important learnings for the ESC team, including the ideal resting time for coral after fragmentation, the cut sizes and light intensity that facilitate faster growing, specialized cutting methods and feeding techniques for each species, strategies for transporting large numbers of fragments, good and bad environmental conditions for outplanting coral species, and cementation strategies for gardening corals.
We need to do the monitoring, we need to check how is the stability of the biodiversity there, and we need to report and understand what more can be done to exactly expand this type of concept and expand the coral restoration activity in Qatar.
All the outcomes of this project will be published in international scientific journals, and they will be made available to the general public and, of course, to the environmental managers here in Qatar, also to the government.
هذا البحث نقل التعاون بين جامعة قطر وبين الشركات المحلية إلى نقلة نوعية متميزة من خلال الثقة بجامعة قطر كصرح أكاديمي بحثي له القدرة على الحفاظ على البيئة بطريقة جديدة ولم تستخدم من قبل.
تعتبر البيئة البحرية والتنوع البيولوجي شيئاً أساسياً ومهماً خلال توسعة المشاريع المستقبلية لشركة قطر للطاقة الغاز الطبيعي المسال، حفاظاً على الإرث البحري للأجيال القادمة في المستقبل.
وضع الشعاب المرجانية إذا احنا وفرنا له البيئة الطبيعية وبدأ يستعيد حياته الطبيعية، هذا سيسجل لقطر من ضمن مشاريعها في التكيف في التغير المناخي.
The ESC study has already made the Qatar Marine Zone a global epicenter for improving knowledge around coral reef restoration. And our work has only just begun. As scientists, we're proud to provide these solutions and demonstrate that together we can accelerate restoration efforts and improve the economic and ecological impact of coral reef resources in Qatar and the world.